Okay, in our next story, as an example of renewable energy in Bitcoin, El Salvador wants to create a crypto-funded Bitcoin city near a volcano. According to their president, Nayib Bukele, this project is hoping to use the volcano as a cheap source of geothermal energy. Remember, back in September, El Salvador was the first country to adopt Bitcoin as a national legal tender, whatever that means. The Verge noted that this makes it cheaper and easier for migrants to send money back home to El Salvador and could improve citizens' access to financial services. According to CNBC, in 2020, El Salvador received nearly $6 billion in remittances, which was 23% of its GDP. So Western Union and other transfer fees have a material impact on their economy. Yeah, the craziness here is you could lose half your value in Bitcoin, right? We saw Bitcoin have multiple instances where it went down 25 to 75% over the years. Pullbacks are the norm. Do you really want to tie your currency to that kind of volatility? Well, an established, stable country does not want to put themselves on a decentralized, crazy, imaginary money, store of value concept here that is uncontrollable. But an emerging country with nothing to lose that already is dealing with issues, maybe for them it's not such a risk because they're already in a risky currency of their own. And NBC reported that the Bitcoin city will have residential areas and commercial areas like restaurants and an airport. Okay, obviously, if it works, they would do that. The only tax collected in the zone will be a value-added tax, a VAT. So if you don't know what a value-added tax is, because it is foreign to most Americans, Investopedia, which does a really good job of defining these things, they define it as a VAT is collected on a product at every stage of its production during which value is added to it. From its initial production to the point of sale, the amount of VAT that the user pays is based on the cost of the product, less any cost of materials used in the product that have already been taxed at a previous stage. The value-added tax is a type of consumption tax, obviously. Key takeaways, the value-added tax or VAT is added to a product at every point on the supply chain where value is added. Advocates of VATs claim that they raise government revenues without punishing the wealthy by charging them more through an income tax. Critics say that VATs place an undue economic burden on lower-income taxpayers. Although many industrialized countries have value-added taxation, the United States is not one of them. So super, super confusing for Americans to understand it. To fund the city, El Salvador is planning to raise $1 billion via a Bitcoin bond in partnership with the digital assets infrastructure company Blockstream, according to CNBC. The bond offering would happen in 2022 entirely in Bitcoin. That's a savvy move because all these people around the world who are Bitcoin advocates can ship their Bitcoin to them pretty easily. So it sounds almost like a DAO. And a bond is kind of like a DAO when you think about it. It's like a structure, just not a decentralized one. It's a centralized one. $500 million would be used to purchase Bitcoin. $500 million will go to harnessing the energy from the volcano and mining. That's a kind of interesting split. I wonder how they came up with that. When you see an interesting number split like that, that's indicative of maybe a money grab and people haven't actually thought this through. Like, is it exactly $500 million to get the energy from the volcano mining? Like, is it 276 million? It's really exactly 500 million and they're just rounding it up, or they're rounding it up to $1 billion. Kind of weird. According to Blockworks, which I've never heard of, the Bitcoin bond will have special dividends dispersed on an annual basis generated by the staggered liquidation of Bitcoin. So they will sell Bitcoin each year to pay for their bondholders. Interestingly, El Salvador picked Bitfinex Securities to issue the bond. The same company behind Tether. What could go wrong? Oh my Lord. If you didn't know this, the new president of El Salvador has a very mixed reputation. Some people consider him a dictator, and they think he stole power. This is probably not the person that you want to, and he actually refers to himself as the world's coolest dictator, but this is probably not the person that any project, technology, or otherwise would want to tie themselves to, except for maybe Bitcoin. Laser eyes. Have fun staying poor. It's pretty toxic to put yourself in alignment with this individual, but it's going to be an interesting experiment. So I'm here for it. If they are able to raise $1 billion in Bitcoin from the bunch of crazy Bitcoin, billionaires out there, and then they get payback and they're able to build a city based on it, sure. Secure the bag, El Salvador. Get that money. Build 10 cities. If you can get 10 billion, let's go. If you've got other places to get free energy, let's go. Their ability to execute on this, their partnership with Bitfinex, there's so many red flags here that this looks like a mini golf location. Like, this is red flags everywhere. Stay the heck out of here. I would not go near this project. How is this better than people just investing in Bitcoin directly is, of course, what you'd ask yourself. Well, maybe the bonds will be more acceptable into the financial system. You know, the guy, Michael Saylor, who has the laser eyes from MicroStrategy, which was, I think, a failed company that had a checkered past. He just decided to turn it into a Bitcoin holding company, essentially, and he just bought as much Bitcoin as possible. He's the guy who famously said, sell everything you own, buy Bitcoin, get loans, buy Bitcoin, just do everything you can, is his thesis, which, I'll be honest, he's been quite right for some period of time. When the market pulls back, of course, he looks like a moron. And then when the Bitcoin doubles, he looks like a genius. And that is the nature of, this new imaginary monetary system that is highly speculative and I think fairly obvious to everybody, a bubble. Some people think it's not a bubble, but they're usually the ones who have a vested interest in getting the next person to buy Bitcoin. In that way, Bitcoin has a very MLM nature to it, pretty obvious. Once you own Bitcoin, you really want to tell people, buy it, buy it, buy it. Listen, I own 7 figures worth of Bitcoin, bought at $100 to $200 a coin. But I'm not sitting here telling you to buy it because I don't know where it's going to go. I think it could go back down to 30 as easily as it could go up to 300. Before we get into the ad, I want you to go to linkedin.com/twist and post your first job for free. Just do that right now. First job posting free. linkedin.com/twist. Okay, now on to the ad read. Today, many small business owners are busier than ever. Time spent searching for and interviewing the wrong candidates takes away from growing your business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs has made it easier to get the candidates worth interviewing, and you're going to get those candidates faster. And your first job posting is free. In just minutes, you can post a job on LinkedIn and reach the world's largest professional network, which is now over 770 million people. Wow, they're going to hit 1 billion soon. You can use screening questions to get your role in front of only the most qualified people. Then you can quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. We love LinkedIn Jobs at launch, and in 2021, we hired a third producer, a curriculum designer, and a couple more researchers. And we're still hiring, and LinkedIn Jobs gets it done for us. I love the product. So, LinkedIn Jobs helps find you the right candidates worth interviewing faster. Every week, nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn, and you can post your job for free at linkedin.com/twist. That's linkedin.com/twist to post your first job for free. Terms and conditions, of course, apply because they're giving you something for free.